My niece didn't want to leave Canada, didn't want to leave her friends, didn't want to leave.
Okay, so YouTube is being a butthead again, and um, I've posted some comments on some creators, and they keep getting deleted, and so I've reached out to them, and they say that they're not deleting them. And then I hopped on YouTube today, and one of my new favorite creators, I totally disagree with her on the Idaho 4 case, but um, she's a good creator because she's just very respectful about the way that she engages, I think. And um I just happen to disagree with her, but I love her title is FFS. Like, I can't even remember if it's FFS News or something like that, but the acronym is priceless because it's one of my favorite words. So, for fuck's sake, it's just great. So, anyway, she had posted a quick little video like, "What's up, YouTube? Why are people's comments being removed, and why are my comments being removed when I'm trying to respond to them?" So clearly, it's not just me. So, for anybody out there, I am like probably the tiniest channel on YouTube right now. So, I don't know how many people are going to hear this, but if you hear this, just know that you're not alone. I don't know how to reach out to YouTube. The gal on FFS News says that she has no idea. I think she kind of made the video like to YouTube, like, "Dear YouTube, go fuck yourself." Because I don't think that, I mean, I don't know that there's any customer service, unfortunately, which is kind of bullshit. Like, who makes all the money off of YouTube? I have no idea how any of that shit works. I'm a not-for-profit gal over here, just over here in the peanut gallery. Anyway, let me get to the meat and potatoes here. So, Alexa's Room, I just came across one of your videos last night, and that's why I kept trying to post to your board today, and it just, like, I'd go back and check it for some reason. Oh, I had to go back into post something else that I thought of, and my message was gone. And it was like 5 minutes later, and I thought, what the hell? So I tried again, and then I logged out and logged back in, and it was gone again. So anyway, I just thought I'd make a quick video and hope that you see it, because there's a lot of, and I wish I was better at this. I'm a generation or two older than you, I'm guessing. And I can use my tech, but I really don't. I don't know. It's a complicated answer, but I'm on the YouTube streets literally for the O'Keefe family. I felt so swayed by everything that I was seeing that I just wanted to give them hugs and just send them love, and I just didn't know how. And so this is the best I can do, and I'm just hoping that it reaches the people it needs to reach in the universe. So anyway, I'm assuming your name is Alexa. You are a super sweet, adorable young lady, and I just think that you have been misled and things have been completely misinterpreted for you. Again, keep in mind, I am a couple generations older than you. I do have some a little bit more life experience. I'm not saying that doesn't that that your life experience is not valid, because it totally is. I'm just saying that I think when I was younger, I thought I knew everything, and then when I was more mature, I started to realize that I don't know anything, you know? I mean, truly. I'm here for love and light. That's the only thing I know, is that humans are supposed to love one another, and that's our purpose. That's the meaning of life. So just in case anybody was wondering, you heard it here first. The meaning of life is to love. Love is the meaning of life. To love. And with age does come wisdom. Ideally, as long as you're not like continually hitting your head against the wall. So there's some things. I just started watching you comment on the interview with Paul here, and I'm going to kind of do a reaction video because I didn't listen to all of your commentary yet, and I just thought that I could do it in real time. So I let it play a little bit into it because I know you don't start talking for a little while, so I didn't want to go through this because most people have seen this interview many, many times by now. So, but I, just from the little bit that I have heard so far, I'm saying this with the absolute kindest, purest love and light. Like, I'm not here to change your mind, honestly, but I am here to ask you to do a little bit more research, and I'm going to give you things to look at and maybe a different perspective to just consider. Just throwing it out there. You do seem like a very open-minded person, but it also seems to me that you do think that Karen is factually innocent, and you do think that she should be free. And based on all of my research, and keep in mind, I'm an education freak. Like, I love to learn. I have 3 degrees, and I'm going to continue getting degrees probably until the day I die because I love learning. So I'm a research bug. So trust me when I tell you that I've done my research on this case. One thing I'm going to suggest right out of the gate is for you to listen to, there's a YouTube channel called Roberta Glass, and just like it sounds, it's Roberta and then glass, like a drinking glass, and she has dedicated a channel to something called innocence fraud, because I went into this trial thinking that Karen was innocent also, but all I had known about it going into the trial was basically the bits that were coming out in the media. And I'm also a true crime junkie. Like, I watch cold case files and forensic files and 48 hours and every single crime show I can get my hands on. So I know quite a bit about law and forensics and how things work, and have had I've also just had a lot of life experience where I've been able to talk with professionals in the field, and I have also I've had my own situations with the law in my younger days, so I have experience in that regard as well. So I just want you to do a little research on what innocence fraud is, because I hadn't heard of it until I started really digging in the Karen Reed case, because I thought she was innocent with what we knew going in. But again, when you hear things coming out before a trial, that is all coming from the defense, because a prosecutor they're legally, okay, so prosecutors and defense attorneys, first of all, I'm sure this is stuff you know, but just to lay it out so that we're crystal clear, they have totally different boundaries as far as what they can do outside of the courtroom, right? So defense attorneys can say anything they want outside the courtroom. It could be the biggest lie in the whole world. But what they can't do is put their client on the stand and ask them direct questions knowing that their client is guilty. That's like the one thing they can't do. There's other ethics that they have to follow within the courtroom, but they can't outright lie in the courtroom, and they can't outright perjure, like ask their client to basically perjure themselves. And those are like the biggest ones. Now, we could get into all the different things, because trust me when I tell you, if you do your research on Alan Jackson, the beginning of his career was quite lovely. When he started for the defense, he became a different animal entirely. And his MO, this is the big thing that I discovered in my research. His MO is to get the phones of the victims and find something embarrassing that can be used against them and basically blackmail them into dropping the case. Okay, so now keep in mind also, his biggest clients are people like Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. And in Kevin Spacey, in the case with Kevin Spacey, that's how he got that case dropped, was he got the phone from the victims, and he found some, we'll never know what exactly it was, but this was a victim of Kevin Spacey, okay? But AJ found something on there that was embarrassing enough for him to not want to go forward with it, because he would bring it out just like they did to Proctor. Okay, and I'm going to stand up for Proctor for many reasons, one of which is the whole federal thing that you have been told is a complete fallacy. Yes, the feds got involved, but that was okay. So this innocence fraud that I'm hoping that you actually go research, the whole reason for it is politics, power, and money. Okay, this is the first case. See, I didn't recognize what this was, and I didn't even know what this, I hadn't heard of that before. But when I started digging into this case so much, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on, because by the end of day one, which let me tell you, I was there for it, and it was one of the worst opening statements I've ever heard in my life, because I didn't know, which I'm basically a juror going in there, right? I don't know all of these people. How am I supposed to keep all this straight without any kind of visual aid? Or it was too much, okay? And it was boring. And we could get into the whole personality differences between prosecutors and defense attorneys also, but that if you do just do light research on that, and you'll find that most prosecutors are very much like the Adam Lalleys of the world. They are there to talk about facts, okay? They are tethered to the facts. They have an ethical obligation to only speak in truths, in and out of the courtroom. Therefore, they do not lie. And if they do lie, it's big time trouble. And the feds were involved in this case. And the worst thing that they found were Proctor's text messages. That's the worst thing that came of the federal investigation. The federal investigation is over. Josh Levy needs to come out and tell the people of his community what the hell he thought he needed to get involved in this case was, because he is either corrupt or he owed a political favor to AJ or something. But this started, and trust me when I tell you that I have no dog in this fight. I live across the country. I don't know any of these people. I could give two shits about Turtle Boy and his madness. He is completely off his rocker, and it's obvious that you have gotten information from him based on the little bit that I've heard you say on yours. So I don't know if you listen to his show or If you're listening to some of the grifters that, because now he got involved with Karen. Everything that's been put out in the media has been straight from Karen. Karen Reed is a psychopath. And I am not even going to say allegedly, because it is a fact. And if she wants to try to take me to court, she can. She is clinically psychopathic. That is the only explanation for somebody having the ability to do what this woman has done. Okay? And I ask you to please reach out to me. Shoot me an email or text or message me if you get this, because I can go through so much with you to help you see what really happened. But because I'm not going to make a 3-hour thing here, but so I just want to kind of go through some of this stuff. But she ran John over, and some people that know that she's guilty still don't know for sure if it was intentional. I personally think that she did it intentionally. I personally think she absolutely knew she hit him. There's no way in the world she did not know she hit this man. I have a vehicle that is not even close to as nice as that vehicle, and my vehicle has buzzers and beeps and lights and all kinds of shit that happens if I'm driving down the road in the daylight and they think that I'm getting too close to another car. It beeps at me. Okay, so I know that car would have had so many bells and whistles going off on it, and like there's no way that she didn't know that she did this. And she immediately called him. I think her first call to him was 3 minutes after she left. And she's already accusing him of cheating on her and being a pervert. Now, this is what I mean by psychopathic, because a lot of people will say, there's no way that she would call and leave that kind of message if she knew that she killed him. Most people, I think it's like 80% of people that are murdered by a significant other actually try to use their phones. Like they'll make a phone call and say, hi honey, just wanted to make sure we're still on for movie night or whatever, and text message and do all kinds of stupid shit to try to build their alibi. Well, she didn't do that. She did the opposite because she was that pissed. She was not invited out with him that night. She showed up. He didn't make a big scene about it because that's just not the kind of guy he is. He is not a thug. None of the people that are involved in this case are thugs. They would not, they just don't have the personalities of what Turtle Boy, and I'm saying Turtle Boy because every creator that is grifting off of this, meaning there are at least 10 that I could name channel by names, like Attorney Melanie Little, The Glare, Turtle Boy, obviously, LTL, Brian, Tom, CPU, Going Through the Motions, Sean McDonough. Oh my God, that man. It's crazy. I mean, he just, go back and listen to the crap that these people have been telling you, and then go see how much of that has literally been disproven. It has been disproven. Okay? So that's got to tell you something. So anyway, she's building her alibi already. She started calling her dad at 1 o'clock in the morning. What 43-year-old woman starts calling daddy at 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't do that. I didn't do that when I was 20 and got arrested. Like, I just don't do that. I just don't think that she would do that unless it was a major, major, major thing. And this was a pretty major thing. Okay? And then she calls Carrie. Okay, Carrie Roberts is like the biggest clue for everybody out there that says, you know, that wants to make a big to-do about nothing, saying that, well, the defense didn't cross-examine her because she didn't hurt them one way or the other. No, that's not really the case at all. They wanted everybody to forget about her, because what happened is Turtle Boy and AJ and Karen have made Jen McCabe the villainess, right? She's the one that's coordinated all of this, and she is this awful, awful person. Which, just a quick FYI on that, the reason she came off so defensively, which I can see why people could see it that way, but having done all the research I've done, knowing the absolute terrorization that these families have gone through, she is a very strong woman, and she is not going to let slimy Alan Jackson boot her around in that courtroom. So she is like, hell no, you are not going to trick me. If you want me to answer a direct question, you better ask me a direct question, and you better mean every single word you say, because I'm going to parse through it, because I know how you operate, and that is how he operates. Okay, it is. Whether you love him or hate him, that is how he operates. He is a slime ball, and he will use your words again. He attacked every single witness. Okay, for this corruption to work, 70 people have to be involved, from the ME to the fire department to three different departments of police. The FBI would have to also be in collusion, because they would have to allow this to move forward. Okay, if she was truly factually innocent, the feds would not have let this go to trial, which is what they tried to sell to the media before the trial even happened, to get all of this support from people that don't even know the woman. You need to think about if you would want her to date somebody that you love. Would you want her to date your brother or your uncle, or, somebody that you really care about? Because if you're that confident in her innocence and her mental well-being that she would not... I personally think she is a very dangerous woman. I don't want her anywhere near me or anyone that I love. I don't care. This woman could teach your children. She could be your neighbor. She could be dating somebody that you love, and she could hurt them. She abused John O'Keefe. She was so abusive to him. Men can be the victims of domestic abuse. They don't see it so clearly because they don't understand it. She's not like beating him up, but she was clearly abusive to this man. Okay, and he didn't really understand what was going on. He just knew he didn't appreciate it. And, they try to say that he was mad at her because she was too nice, because she was buying the kids stuff. No, she was teaching them wrong values. She was buying them shit to manipulate them. And he saw right through that shit, and that's what they fought about. He did not want her to influence them, to not have good morals and values, and know the value of good hard work and intrinsic value and doing things to do the right thing. Okay? That is what he saw that she was taking away from them, and it scared the shit out of him. And that's why he was just done with her. So all this shit about Higgins and all of this crap, he could give two shits as far as I'm concerned. He did not want her in his life anymore. He asked her to leave. She wouldn't leave. She would, and I've been in abusive relationships, so I know how this goes, where it's like you get away, and then somehow they manipulate their way back into your life again, and then they're there again, and it's like, fuck, how did I get back here again? So, that seems to me like what she was doing. She showed up uninvited to the bar that night. And if Higgins would have, been, outwardly trying to date her, John O'Keefe would have said, God bless, good luck. He probably would have advised very strongly against it for his own good, but he wouldn't have been jealous or pissed. Okay, this whole idea that he's some thug that's gonna beat the shit out of somebody over, his woman. Like, this is not how adult, emotionally mature people act. It's just not. And John O'Keefe was an emotionally mature person. Karen Reed, not so much. Okay? Turtle Boy, not even close. The Glare, oh my God. 5-year-old has more emotional intelligence than that man. I mean, you gotta look at where you're getting your information from. Listen to how they speak about people. They're adults. All of these creators are adults, like well into their middle age and above. And they are treating other adults like they're the unpopular kids in high school and they're the cool kids. I mean, it's really quite disgusting and disturbing because they're influencing our younger generations. And these are the role models that they have. And they think, well, these people are adults and they're so cool. Like, no, it's not cool to accuse people of murder that there is no factual basis for at all. If there was any factual basis for any of this shit, they would be charged. They're not charged. Okay, so my point about Carrie Roberts had only met Jen McCabe one other time because both Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe were very involved in John O'Keefe's, I'm just going to call him his daughter's life. But differently, like they didn't really know each other. He took them out once to thank them. He brought them out together to thank them and bought everybody shoes. That was his thank you. So they met. That was the only time they met. Carrie Roberts had no allegiances to anybody except the O'Keefe family. Okay, so when Jen McCabe got done with her testimony, that everybody wants to say that she is this big villain when she is just trying to defend her life and liberty and her family. She is a soccer mom. She is a coach. She is the wife of a retired Boston decorated police officer who is also being wrongly accused of murder. I mean, you've got to do your research into the people who are accusing, and even more so who are being accused. These people are salt of the earth people. Okay? And if John O'Keefe was murdered by any of these people, Carrie Roberts, who was a friend of his from high school, they go that far back, and John O'Keefe's brother and his family, mother and father, you bet your ass they would go to the ends of the earth to convict the right person or persons. They know who did this. They did their own investigation. So what I need to ask you to do is to take a step back and ask yourself, if my brother, I don't know if you have a brother, but insert somebody that you love, if my brother wound up dead in one of his friends' yards. Okay, so am I gonna just take the cops' word for it? Like, oh, well, we're pretty sure this is what happened, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, we'll see you in court in 2 years. You're not gonna do your own, that's why John O'Keefe's mom and Jen McCabe were doing a timeline, because when they started figuring this out, it was a slow burn. Imagine realizing that your brother's girlfriend had killed him. Do you think that would be your first thing that you would jump to? That's why these people were they were all in shock. First of all, they all loved John individually. All of them had their own relationships with John. Some of the guys didn't even know him. I don't think Brian Albert really knew him. But anyway, that's the one thing they had in common was their love for John. They're not going to just be like, oh, well, obviously his crazy psycho girlfriend killed him. They didn't know that she was this way. They had hints, but they accepted her. She was part of their lives for 2 solid years they, like you said in this clip here, like their testimony was highlighted, their relationship. Her and Aaron O'Keefe were very close. So when you say things like, well, I don't think that that's weird that she did that when she just went over there and left because she was suicidal. I don't care about saying the wrong words because I am not monetized, so whatever. I'm a straight shooter. I call it as I see it. So, and I do like my swear words. I really like my fuck words. So I forgot my train of thought. Shit. Hold on a second. I gotta think. So their testimony represented that they had a very good relationship. Okay. Now, they can't testify to what they think happened. Nobody can do that except like experts can say, well, this is, likely or unlikely kind of stuff. But like citizens aren't allowed to say, well, I'm pretty sure that this is what happened. They can't do that. So that's why that stuff never came out. And that's why the whole world, I didn't know what their family thought either. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I had no idea how the family felt about Karen. But by the end of day one, I had figured out she was guilty as fuck. And again, not through any beautiful opening statements. It was just processing the information and realizing that the little bits of information that I had heard were total bullshit, total nonsense. And it really came down to common sense for me. Like once I started thinking it all through, and I'm thinking like, okay, if I was dating somebody for 2 years and I was really close to the kids and I dropped him off and then I went to his place where I basically lived with them. And then I start like leaving him messages right away, like swearing at him and calling him a pervert. Like I can't even imagine a woman her age calling a man a pervert. Like I don't even understand that. It's such a strange term. Like if I thought my husband were cheating on me, I wouldn't use that word. It's just like I think of a pervert as somebody who is attracted to people who are not age appropriate, and I would use a much harsher word than pervert. But Ranny, my puppy is having a little bit of a time here. Something's bugging her outside. Sorry about that. So if I dropped him off, okay, at his buddy's house to drink after the bar, and I go back and I'm going to crash out, and then I start freaking out in the middle of the night, waking up his niece and calling all these people. Like, why am I freaking out? Why would she be freaking out? She dropped him off at his buddy's house. As far as she knew, according to her story through her attorneys, first she saw him go to the door, then she didn't see him go to the door. It's been proven that she didn't see him go to the door because he didn't make it up to the house, which is one of the facts that you still clearly didn't understand in testimony. Because, Rennie, hold on 1 second. Okay, my puppies are alerting me to something. So she all of a sudden is like assuming that as soon as he walked into that house, he's pulling down his pants and boning the first person that he sees. Like, what? I don't understand that, first of all. Like, he's already cheating on her within the first 15 to 20 minutes of him being in the house. Like, that makes no sense. Okay? And then you go a couple hours later into the night, and she's starting now to wake up the niece to get phone numbers to call his friends because she is so concerned that he has been in one statement, hit by a snowplow. Lucky Lawford has no idea how lucky he is because he was going to be part of her alibi. She was going to pin it on him as if he hit him. He was going to be part of that whole illusion, I think. Obviously, I don't know, but based on that statement, why would you make a statement like that? Again, if I'm dropping my husband off at his buddy's house and he's drinking, even if we're fighting, whatever, I'm not going to wake up and be like, he's dead. He's been hit by a snowplow. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm going to assume that, well, I was his ride and we were in a fight and he's been drinking, so probably he passed out on somebody's couch. Okay? So, like, I'm not freaking out. I might start to call some of his buddies and make sure, like, see when he's coming home. Whatever, if I'm really that concerned. If I'm super concerned, which, again, why is she so concerned? That's where you need to start questioning shit right out of the gate. That's the common sense factor that comes into play. I would never assume that if I drop my husband off at his buddies to drink, even if we got in a fight, let's assume we were fighting, even more so, that would make me think he definitely got super wasted and crashed out on his couch, like, for sure. So, like, the whole idea of her freaking out and assuming that he's been hit by a snowplow, and then she calls Carrie Roberts, who, again, has no affiliations to anybody except the O'Keefe family. She calls Carrie Roberts and she says, John is dead, and hangs up the phone. And that happens at 5 o'clock in the morning. Answer me, why? Why would she call arguably his best friend and say he's dead and hang up the phone? Again, I know you're not likely married, but I think about, like, that's so out of the realm of even, and I'm a creative, I'm an artist, so, like, I have a very vivid imagination. My mind would never go there. Just, like, it wouldn't happen, okay? And so that's the same thing that happened when the O'Keefe family and the McCabe's and Carrie Roberts, they started to figure this out because she was advertising. My taillight's broken. I hit him. Did I hit? Like, even make it a question. Again, if I dropped him off and went back to our place, that is not going to be coming out of my mouth. I am not going to be, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? I hit him. Whatever version you want to believe of that, that is not coming out of my mouth because I know I dropped him off and I left. So I'm going to be confronting people. I'm going to be saying, I'm going to be getting in Jen McCabe's face right at that moment and saying, what the fuck did you guys do? What the fuck happened here last night? Because I know Jen McCabe was inside that house. So if I didn't do anything and all I did was drop him off, I'm immediately confronting the person who I know was with him. And I'm banging on that door and I'm fucking confronting them and I'm demanding the police to go in there. Okay? This is what this would be a normal reaction. Now you can say everybody grieves differently. True. But again, put yourself in that position. If you have a significant other, are you going to drop them off at a party and if they don't come home by 5 o'clock in the morning, are you going to call their best friend and tell them they're dead? If you're that concerned, there's a reason you're that concerned. And furthermore, if you're that concerned, why are you not calling jails, hospitals, sheriff's office to do a wellness check? 911 maybe. Like, these are all things that a person that's totally innocent and has fear for whatever reason would be doing. Okay? She didn't do anything like that. Nothing. Notice that she has no support except her actual family. Her sister and her don't even talk. Her sister doesn't support her. Everybody in her immediate family knows she's guilty. All of these so-called supporters don't know this woman. You don't know this woman. Okay? And for all of y'all to be critiquing Paul's opinion, this is his brother. You damn well better know if something happened to my brother, and it's not like I'm like the big brother, you know, like that's my mentality. And I'm a sister, so it's like, I'm sure the bond between brothers is at least as deep as I would be fucking figuring out what the hell happened to my brother. And I would know what happened to my brother. I wouldn't be guessing. I wouldn't be taking the DA's word for it. I wouldn't be, you know, just accepting things that are fed to me. I would fucking know, okay? And you better bet your ass that Paul O'Keefe knows. And so does his family. And his whole entire family. This family is filled with grace. That's why nobody knows what they think, because they will not stoop to that level. This woman has terrorized the person that she was supposed to love, which she on national television with Matt Johnson said, he said, well, you must have loved him. And she said, no, we were just dating. We were dating. Okay. Like, no. She didn't love him. And for whatever reason, I don't know if she wanted to let everybody in the world know she was single and free to mingle while she's going through this murder trial, or what the point was. But it's just another example of her narcissism and her inability to read the room and understand how her actions affect others and how the words come across, because she does not have normal human reactions that would be within the realm of possibilities of all the different ways that people could grieve. You would not, if I was innocent and my husband was murdered and all of these people came to support me because I was being wrongly accused, and they were attacking and blaming all these other fucking people, I would fucking get on my own megaphone and I would say, people of the world, I love you. I appreciate your support. Stay with me through this trial, but please don't harass these families. Please don't harass these, my husband's family. For the love of God, they were booing his family, and Turtle Boy is at the helm of all of that. Okay? They're booing John O'Keefe's mom and dad as they go into court for pretrial motions. This is what they do. It is disgusting. It is vitriolic. It is hateful, spiteful, psychopathic behavior. Normal people would not be able to do that. She gets pleasure in other people's pain. When Michael Proctor, in my book, was a hero because he could have taken the fifth. He knew he was going to take a beating. He knew exactly what was coming, and he could have pled the fifth. But he wanted to do what was right by John's family, and he sacrificed himself. He threw himself on the mercy of the world and hoped that people would recognize his humanness. He humbly, over and over and over again, accepted that what he did was wrong. There was no defense for it. He took full responsibility, and Jackson just lit up the courtroom with him, every sentence out of his mouth, like he was a murderer. This man was upset because he knew what had happened, because all of the evidence led straight to Karen. All of it. Her taillight is cracked. By that time, they had started finding taillight and the shoe and the stuff under the snow. People, no, like, I don't know if you don't live in snow, but, like, they make it out to be something that it is totally not, okay? They were a small police department. It's a small community. They all know each other to some degree. So just because my brother's girlfriend's dog's niece's friend might be at my wedding doesn't mean that I know her. I'm in pictures all the time with lots of people that I don't know because I have friends from all over the world, and I'm at different events with people that I might have just met or maybe even haven't had a chance to talk to yet. I mean, there were a ton of people at my wedding that I didn't know because I hadn't met my husband's distant relatives yet at that point. So, like, there's pictures. So all of this bullshit, you got to think it through further than just the, like, what they're trying to feed you, okay? It is untrue. It is false. It is disgusting. And it is absolutely false. This is innocence fraud. It is the first one that I know of that's taken place in America in real time. And I don't know that that was even, that they really knew what they were doing, but they started doing it and it took fire. Because here's the deal, there is corruption in that community, clearly. Like, there is. So people are pissed, but they're using this case to set their anger afire, and they're blaming a lot of innocent people. And also, while you're doing your research, do your research into Adam Lally. Do your research into Michael Proctor and to any other detective that you think is dirty within this case. Because I can tell you that Michael Proctor has a clean record. Lally is absolutely unimpeachable. The man's ethics are like Santa Claus, okay? Like, you can't find a single person that will say one cross word about Adam Lally, about him being able to do his job and with the utmost of ethics and morals and honesty, okay? So, and Michael Proctor is a good cop. He's a good cop. And now they have destroyed his life. They've literally destroyed these people's lives. I beg of you to look at what has truly been going on. It's disgusting. And it will come out eventually, because I know people who know people that are digging into the whole corruption on the side of the defense, and there will be retribution. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know what they're going to let come to light, but there's got to be some light, because Paul O'Keefe is not going to, hopefully, Paul O'Keefe, do not go camp at Josh Levy's door. Like, if I were you, I would fucking sit outside of that man's office and I would not leave until he spoke with me and I got fucking answers, because he has screwed you over. He has stuck his nose into something that he didn't belong in. And the feds are like, what the fuck are we doing? There's no corruption here. Here's what you need. You want the text messages? Here you go. That's the worst we found. We're out. Peace out. Later. The feds hopefully are still investigating, but they're not investigating the prosecution of the Commonwealth. They're investigating the fucking corruption at the top. The state's attorney, the previous state's attorney, because I'm pretty sure her hands were all over it too. Rachel Rollins, Josh Levy, they owe the O'Keefe family answers. And they also, part of making an amends to them is being honest with the public, because that is the whole reason that people bought onto this conspiracy. If people hear the feds are involved, that draws attention. That's why I was interested. Like, okay, the feds are investigating the investigation. Let's take a peek into this. It's clear that there's nothing there. And when you really are seeking the truth, you will find it. I have other stuff on here. I would really suggest watching the little short that's, it's Boundless Millennial. Check out some of his stuff. Like, he is amazing with his production of what he puts out also. But he is about the truth also. Now, keep in mind, all of these creators that are putting out this disinformation are getting rich off of it, okay? So they're doing shows every week, if not every night, still. And it'll continue all through until, I mean, this is their meal ticket for at least the next year. Because it'll be talked about well after she's going to prison. Because she's going to prison. She did this. and she is going to prison. And all this bullshit from the defense is a bunch of malarkey, and you can look up, I could read you constitutional law. In fact, I read some in one of my previous videos. It's bullshit. They have no leg to stand on. They waived their right. They needed to object if they had an objection. They were favoring the mistrial. It's very clear that that's what they wanted. I mean, they were freaking out that she was going to get convicted because they don't deliberate that long and come back without any charge if they're going to come back with a verdict. The best case scenario for them was a mistrial, and you can tell that's what they wanted, which is why they wanted the Tui Rodriguez read, because in Massachusetts, when the Tui Rodriguez is read, if the jury comes back again after that has been read and they're still deadlocked, it is an automatic mistrial. They asked for that to be read since the first note. Why do you think Yannetti was asking that to be read? He wanted a mistrial. If not, Lally wanted, he kept pushing for more time. Why? Because he knew he has the facts on his side. He knows that the defense was ridiculous. Okay? They attacked every single witness on that stand. Almost. The aggressive nature. It was disgusting to me. I know a lot of people think that Adam Lally is, or not, they think Alan Jackson is some sort of superstar. And yeah, he's a great actor. He should be in the soap opera world. In the lawyer world, it's disgusting. That man is not out for truth. He disrespects every single person. He disrespected the judge over and over and over again, consistently, like a little petulant child. Okay, judge, and then he'd do it again. Everybody comes down on Bev like she was a bad actor in this. Judge Bev Cannoni was very pro-defense. When you start going through the pre-trial stuff, which hopefully you've started going through that stuff, hopefully you'll start to see the light a little bit, because she gave them so much rope. Like, she did not have to allow them to be able to do any of this kind of bullshit. They didn't have a leg to stand on. There was zero evidence of anybody else being responsible for this. They threw out, you'll see in a pretrial motion where Yannetti literally says that the DNA is not, the dog DNA is not in question anymore. Which, obviously everybody thought, okay, they gave up on that theory. I have German Shepherd dogs. I've had German Shepherd dogs my entire life. I promise you that those are not dog bites. They did not come from a dog. They tested his clothing for DNA. There are holes in his shirt from the taillight where it hit him. The clear plastic, the abrasions on his arm line up perfectly with the clear plastic that has the dimples in it, which is what Lally was trying to get out. See, the rules of evidence are difficult when the prosecution, as far as I understand the law, and I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think that they're able to prep their witnesses. The defense can prep their witnesses, but I think on the prosecution side, it's like, it's not really, like, you don't get to practice testimony and go over shit like that. Like, if you want to see your, testimony from the grand jury or something, then Adam Lally would provide you with that, but they're not, like, practicing, so they don't get to, like, really know what Adam Lally wants to get out of you. And this was 2 years ago, mind you, too. So they're trying to remember shit that happened 2 years ago. And all this little shit about, like, well, their time is 3 minutes off or 2 minutes off or whatever. In fact, I can lay it out for you in real time where it's not off. But the fact of the matter is, these people were drinking all night. They went back. They're a bunch of adults. Go back to one of their houses to have a couple more drinks before they go home to their families and go to bed, right? So they're not fucking making parking diagrams about where everybody's parked. They're not checking the time when people are coming and going and this and that. So yeah, somebody might say like, oh, well, we left about 12:30, and somebody else might say, yeah, we left about 12:45, and then Turtle Boy and all his little minions are like, oh my God, see, they're lying. It's like, think about when you're out with your friends, right? Like at a party. Are you hearing every single thing, the same things that your friends are hearing? No, because you're having different conversations with different people. So when different people's testimony come out that they heard her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, and it's backed up by 3 more witnesses that, like, they don't know any of these people. It's fucking paramedics. And then somebody else might say, well, I didn't hear her say that, but I heard her say, like, is he dead or whatever? Like, yeah, because they're all there at different times. They're first of all, they're trying to save a life. So that's at the forefront of everybody's mind that is on scene. So, yeah, things are going to be a little not perfect. If it was exactly perfect, that's when questions should arise. Okay? Now, the taillight lines up perfectly on his arm. There are holes in his sweatshirt. There's a short on Boundless Millennial that shows you that. I also posted it on my site so you can see it in one of my little shorts too. It's like literally Boundless Millennial's little post, because I'm just trying to pump this information out there because it's disgusting what the citizens are doing. Karen Reed has literally declared war on the citizens of Canton and the surrounding area. These people, it's like terrorism. Like, honestly, I believe that there could be RICO charges coming down. And they're not going to charge her with anything else until this trial is taken care of. But trust you me, if... I can't imagine she's not... I can't imagine she's going to be free, ever. Like, once she goes back to trial, I think she will be in prison for the rest of her life. So, we may need to keep tabs on her because she may just try to flee the country. But, I don't know. I actually had compassion for her in the beginning. Go listen to my very first podcast. I did it the night of opening statements, and it's self-explanatory. I talk slow because I'm really kind of like channeling in that one, so just double time me. But you'll know exactly where I stood and how I was processing things. I did not come into this at all with any kind of disrespect or anything. And like, I am so disgusted by what she has done. Like, she didn't just kill John O'Keefe. She killed him, and she's killing him over and over and over, and she is hurting thousands of people's lives. People have fights with their family, might be having fights with their spouses over this case. They've lost their businesses over this case. I mean, like, this has affected thousands of people's lives, and it is literally a hit and run. Domestic violence should be the topic of conversation. This is really a domestic violence. This is not misogynistic, like the conversation that she was trying to drive, which is why she chose pink to be their color. And you bet your ass there are text messages that are out there for you to go find that are between her and Turtle Boy, because her and Turtle Boy, she's had like, I don't know how many, 80 hours or something of talk time with Turtle Boy, feeding him information, which, by the way, is illegal. She is not allowed to do that, because then he goes and he spits all this shit that's totally false on his podcast and gets all of these followers, and now he's making tons of money from all these followers. He makes everybody pay him for a super chat. He's constantly crying about how he needs help, money. If you want your super chat read, you need to pay me, otherwise you're not getting your super chat read. That's fucking ridiculous. You should never pay for memberships and super chats and shit on YouTube. I'm sorry. I think it's ridiculous. And if you're doing it, I think you need to really do a lot of research into the person that you're supporting. Because if they're constantly covering cases that are conspiracy theories and corruption, they're being false, because not that doesn't exist, but they're not the ones that are going to find every single case that they're covering. Like, another case just falls right in their lap over and over and over and over again. Okay. I don't think that was Turtle Boy's material. As far as I know, I think he was doing sports before, but I don't know. I don't know the man. I have watched very little of his show just because I needed to see it for myself. The hate that he was spitting, and it's disgusting. He calls John O'Keefe's mom a bitch. He calls Jen McCabe's daughters cunts. I mean, it's awful. Colin Albert left his scholarship. He had a scholarship to college, and because of everything that was going on and what Turtle Boy was doing to him and his family, he didn't go to college because he did not want his team to suffer with that wrath. Because Turtle Boy goes to events, sporting events, and harasses these witnesses and calls them murderers in public. This is not journalism. Think about it. Think about it. Would anybody that you know of that's a real journalist, would they act that way? You can dig up corruption and expose it, and you can do it still with integrity. Turtle Boy has no integrity. He will throw anybody and everybody under the bus. And you bet your ass this man is going to prison. He has tons of charges against him, and they will not let him walk. And if he has any leniency, it's all the more reason for Josh Levy to be under investigation, because I feel like the fact that he is continuing doing this, he either just says, fuck it, I'm going to prison anyway, so I might as well enjoy my time and then I'm just going to off myself kind of thing, or he is being protected, and that was part of the deal with AJ and Levy. So I'm watching that shit closely, and I know people who know people, and it is being investigated. So at least some of it will come to light, but just like all corruption, it's, some of it takes a while. I mean, look at the whole shit with Epstein and Weinstein and what's with the Steens and, even with like Trump and Hillary Clinton, like all the politicians. You become a politician, you become corrupt, because the system, that's how it works. Everybody blackmails everybody, and it's so awful. And America needs love and light. Like, we are here to love each other. And if we can't love and support each other, then we need to shut our mouths. Like, we need to go back to the basics. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, kind of thing. And honestly, I feel like these people that are spreading hate just need to be ignored. The best thing that we can do is just not feed into it. Please don't support them. Please do not spend your hard-earned money paying for a murderer's high-priced, slimy attorney, or a person who has no backbone and no moral ethics, who calls himself a journalist, who is one of the most disgusting, vile human beings I have ever encountered. People are paying for his defense and supporting him every day, every show he does, thousands upon thousands of people. I don't know. I think that if we keep on this track, America is going to go to war with America, and we're going to kill each other off. So we need to take a step back, take a breath, and look at people as people and treat each other the way we want to be treated. We need to recognize each other's humanness. Okay? Think about the very worst thing that you've ever done. Think about it. I want you all to take a minute and think about the worst thing that you can think of that you have shame or guilt over. And then I want you to say to yourself, okay, with that in mind, do you feel like you should be judging other people right now? we shouldn't really have to do that exercise. And eventually, I think with emotional maturity, you get to the point where you don't have to consciously say to yourself, wait a minute, I've done some pretty shady shit too. And we can always say like, but I've never done that, you know, and we can compare and contrast. But again, like, who are we to judge? We are not here to judge one another. That is not our spiritual journey at all. This whole life experience is education. We're all in school, and we're learning, and we're all on different spiritual levels of enlightenment. Okay, you're getting a little bit of my spiritual side here, but truly, this is what I believe, and I obviously think it's true, or I wouldn't believe it. So, you know, not everybody is going to be at our level. We're going to have newcomers that this is their first go round and they act like immature little idiots. I don't know. Some people are born without certain parts of your brain intact that make you feel shame and guilt and empathy and compassion. So, you know, there's all of this to consider. But I think the majority of us can say to ourselves, you know what? I really don't have any reason to be throwing hate at people. I have no evidence that any of these people were involved in this. I have no evidence to say to myself that John O'Keefe's family would want to persecute his girlfriend, who we welcomed into our family and loved and was a mother figure to his children. We would not want her persecuted. If we didn't 100,000% believe in our heart of hearts that she was guilty, we would be fighting for her freedom, and you would know it. The world would know if John O'Keefe's family supported Karen Read. They don't, and all the rumors about their dad, Mr. O'Keefe, no, he does not support Karen. He knows just as well as everybody else that Karen did this. Sometimes he's not in court because he can't handle it. Sometimes his mom leaves court because she can't handle it. Remember, they're raising these children now. I don't know how old they are, but man, like, they're senior citizens taking care of these young children. So I'm sure that some of the time when Mr. O'Keefe isn't in court, my guess would be, well, he has teenagers now at home. So somebody's got to be there with him to go pick them up from sports so that they can have somewhat of a normal, like they're trying to create some sense of normal for these children that have now lost 3 parental figures in their life. It's really quite disturbing. Okay, so no. And again, I don't have direct contact with anybody, so I can't say this with 100% certainty, but again, it's common sense to me. Like, I'm thinking it through, like, why wouldn't he be there? Well, number one, it could be just really fucking hard for him. He has 3 children, and he has lost 2 of them in their adult life. He has lost 2 of his children. And he did like Karen. So I'm sure that adds a whole nother layer. Plus watching what she has done and the circus she has created. I'm sure, like, I couldn't even imagine. I have no idea how this family has so much grace. People criticize Paul for starting to fucking glare at her. She has made a mockery of their brother and their son. And they have shown nothing but grace. He is at a breaking point. And even when he gave that one interview that he did, I think, 2, but he wasn't hateful. He told the truth about what is actually going on and that it's repulsive and that he can't believe people are believing this shit. He literally, like, this was not, when people first heard about this, they're like, yeah, that's bullshit. Like, but they kept, fixing their narrative until some people started latching on. And because there is corruption in that area, that really fired everybody up because they want their revenge. This is not the case. You do not want this woman free. She is dangerous. She does not deserve your money. She does not deserve your help. She does not deserve your love. You can fight the corruption. You can fight for your rights to party. You can fight for whatever you want, but do not fight for this woman. You don't know her. I think I'm a pretty intelligent person. I think anybody who knows me would tell you that I'm a very emotionally mature woman. I am very spiritually mature. I can see exactly what's happening. Please go check out Roberta Glass. Other cases that you might recognize, innocence fraud, making a murderer. I mean, when I saw that, I was beside myself. I was telling my husband I want to go like free this man, you know. Well, I learned on her show that was all a bunch of bullshit. Okay, the Amanda Knox case, that was an international case, so it was a lot easier for her to fool all of us over here because we weren't there, like, seeing the court play out and looking at the actual evidence. Okay, like, she's guilty as a motherfucker too, and now she's married with children. Like, it's freaky, you know, like, that shit scares me. And there's like there's a Tennessee 3 or something. There's a bunch that you can choose. She covers a lot. Like, that's what her channel is about. So please go listen. Choose something. It doesn't even have to pertain to this case, but I would suggest this case because when I didn't even find her. Like, I came to this realization on my own that this was a bunch of shit. But then in trying to figure out what the fucking why all these people that didn't even know her were supporting her, like, it didn't make sense to me. This woman clearly killed her boyfriend, who was a police officer, and his family is being booed as they go in. Like, what the hell is happening? So I'm searching, and I came across her podcast, and I started listening, and I was like, oh my God, okay. It makes sense. That's what they're doing in real time. See, this is usually something they do post-conviction, and it's the whole Innocence Project thing. Not to say that they don't actually free some innocent people, because I absolutely believe that innocent people are imprisoned. I myself was actually put in jail at one point wrongfully. It took about a month for me to get out, and it was fucking crazy and scary, but like, so I know better than anyone that people can be wrongfully. I wasn't convicted. Well, that's a long story, but, you know, I had definitely paid a high price for something that I did not do. So, so I totally know, but this is not the case. Karen Read is guilty. And if you don't believe me, I'm not here to change your mind, but I am here for any questions you might have, to have an open dialogue. I need more subscribers so I can do a live. I would love to do a live with an open panel. That's the other thing. You see all these creators, they have the same people on over and over and over and over again, and it's an echo chamber. They never welcome somebody in their panel that believes that Karen is guilty. And they never accept invitations to other people's panels where we think that she's guilty and they think she's innocent, and we want to debate it, because they know she's guilty and they are making bank off of this bullshit. They're campaigning for her, raising money, like Brian at LTL. Well, I'm going to donate 25% of all the super chats. So it's like, okay, we're doing such a positive thing. You know, everybody's fired up. It's really cool. Like, it's a good, the compassion in the hearts of all the people that are donating and that's amazing. And that's American. But what you don't know is these creators are dirty, filthy fuckers, and they are ripping you off, and they are making mortgage payments off of your backs, and they are laughing their way to the bank when they turn off their computer. They know she is guilty. They're getting fed information. That's why they all have the same talking points. I have tried to participate in some of those, like the chat rooms is awful. And I'm of a generation, like, I'm just not about that. But I try to reach out to the creators, and they just block me. Or they degrade me, and they pull up my comment, which is always very respectful. And they're like, why do you think you're so fucking special? Why should I give you any special fucking attention? I am not a 13-year-old child, and I don't want special attention. I don't think I'm any more special than anybody else. I am asking you to invite somebody on your panel that has a contrarian viewpoint that can have a respectful adult conversation, because that's not happening anywhere. The people that think she's guilty are inviting the people that think that she's innocent, or are claiming that they think that she's innocent. We're inviting them on panels, and they won't accept. You have to ask yourself why. They're scared. They know they're going to get backed into a corner that they can't get out of, because we have the facts on our side, and we can explain everything in a different way where things start to fall into place. And they don't want their audience to be infected with the truth, because then their gravy train runs out and their followers stop tuning in, and they're fucking broke, jobless hobos again. That is exactly what they're doing. I beg of you. I don't ask for money. I don't make money. This channel I'm never monetizing. I like to swear too much. I'm a total, like, I don't know if I'm going to be on. I actually am really into the Idaho 4 case, and the only reason that I got into the Karen Reed case is because the Idaho 4 case has crickets, and so I had to busy myself investigating something else, and so that's why I even got into this. And so I'll probably be putting out some content on Idaho 4, but then I gotta get out of YouTube. Like, I'm not a YouTuber, but I feel like I can help. I want to help spread love and light. I want to help people wake up. We need to become conscious again. We need to recognize one another's humanness. We need to treat each other with kindness. We also need to be honest with ourselves about what is really going on here. If you want to stand up for rights, that's great. But if you honestly think that this woman is factually innocent, and you think that I'm full of shit, I ask you to please reach out and ask me anything that you want, and I will answer it respectfully, and we can have an open dialogue, and hopefully I think I need 50 subscribers, and I have like 9 right now. So please like and subscribe so I can have lives, because I'll have open panels, which would be the easiest thing for me, because I want to invite people like you, and people who are truly buying into this. Because all the creators that are putting this shit out, they know they're full of shit. That's why they don't allow any of us on their panel, and they won't come on any of our panels. That is why. Okay, but so that's another thing that's a red flag. Why are they not ever inviting anybody up there that has a contrarian viewpoint? Why can't they have a conversation? Why do they have to act like petulant teenagers and call each other names? It's ridiculous. That's not how emotionally mature people act. That's not how spiritually mature people act. So if these are your role models, I beg of you to please take a beat and think about the kind of person that you want to be. Because, if you're in your 20s and you're finding yourself, like, this is a really important time in your life. And if these are your role models, ouch, Again, though, like, you have a good heart, because if you really believe that she's innocent and you're fighting for rights, that's awesome. But again, this is not the case. There are a lot of cases out there that need your attention, like the Sandra Birchmore case. That's a local one that definitely needs more attention on it. Okay? Go fight for that woman and her family. She needs you. Karen Reed does not deserve any support. She would throw any one of you under the bus to save her own ass. She had 6 hours to call 911. And it could have saved John's life. She knew what she did. Just based on this small amount of information, you should hopefully at least be questioning everything that you've been told. I'm going to stop. I didn't even play the video. I'm a talker, so please like and subscribe so I can do a live. I want to have lives. I want to invite people on. I want to talk things out with people so that you get a different viewpoint. But I don't know if anybody's going to come on because it's not a soap opera. It's not exciting and scintillating. It's a hit and run domestic violence case. Domestic violence should be the topic of this case. This should be about, you know what? Men can get abused too. The, what's the fucking Clenny? What the hell was her name? The influencer chick who stabbed her boyfriend to death. He died. Clenny is her last name. I don't know what her first name is. I can't remember. But that case needs a lot of attention. That is a male domestic violence. She was abusing the shit out of him. I mean, it is very obvious when you start looking at the facts of that case. That case needs some attention. His family needs love and support. That bitch needs to get put away. And I mean, here's the deal. Like, women can be bitches. I can be bitches sometimes. Like, me saying that she's a bitch. She fucking murdered her boyfriend. If there was ever a time to call a woman a bitch or a cunt, that's the time. When they kill the person that they are supposed to love. So, when you look at it from that perspective, were Michael Proctor's texts really so bad? He was pissed that this bitch fucking ran her boyfriend over and left him to die for 6 hours in the cold of hypothermia. I mean, yeah, she's a fucking cunt. Yeah, if there was ever an appropriate time to use that word, that's the time. You need to really take a step back and think about who you should be supporting. The John O'Keefe family deserves everybody's love and support, and they have been victimized and re-traumatized over and over. It's like a fucking never-ending nightmare for them. I can't even imagine trying to be in their shoes. Their whole community's turned against them because of this fucking bullshit. It's beyond sad. Sad is the biggest understatement of the world. Karen Reed has declared war. She is Hitler. It's disgusting. She deserves to go to prison. None of these creators deserve your support. Hopefully, they will have consequences also. There needs to be some legislation coming down about how social media interacts in our justice system, because it'll corrode the whole thing. We won't have an American justice system if people can do this kind of shit. You really have to do the research. You have to look deeper than just the trial, because things didn't... There are rules of evidence where things can't come into evidence, okay? There are lots of things that didn't come in, like text messages between Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. A lot of other text messages. I don't know why they didn't put in all of her interviews. And, I mean, this shit is there for you to find. She admitted for over a year that she thought she hit him. Like, she told her lawyer, I didn't think I hit him that hard. Like, I mean, come on. That's your response? If your boyfriend ends up dead and you're going to say, well, I didn't think I hit him that hard. Wow. If ever there's a term or a time to call somebody a psychopath, I just don't understand the mentality of how you can really look, because I know that a lot of you are really looking at this and you're really buying into it, but you need to go deeper. You need to go to the pretrial shit. Why didn't they want Chloe's DNA? Chloe is alive. She's in Vermont. They said it in the trial that she is available, but people don't pay attention to that this is what echo chambers do, that you hear what you want to hear. Okay, the whole thing about Jen McCabe making that search at 2 whatever in the morning has been debunked by the person who wrote the program. He literally wrote the program. That is one of the people that testified for the prosecution who wrote the program and said that, you know what, they had to recode that because of the fact that people, like, they you know, technology is the new way of the world in the court system, and they were having issues with this where it's like, I didn't search that at that time, and they figured out, like, well, that was because that's when that window was open, so they had to rewrite the code. Now, go listen to that testimony again and hear it through that lens, and then go to the testimony of the bullshit expert that they put on the stand and listen to what Lally asks him. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on the company. Like the main company that uses this stuff. They're like, did that company contact you? And he's trying to dance around it like, I don't think so. I reached out to them. And Lally's like, okay, well, did they return your call? Well, not that I'm aware of. Like, yes, they did. And there's digital proof that they did. Okay. Then at the very last sentence, Lally finally gets him to acquiesce that, yes, he knows that they had to make that adjustment. He knows that he was wrong. He literally says that on the stand. It's his last sentence. None of the people on the Turtle Rider side that have been brainwashed literally like a cult, like, and I'm not saying that as a put down. This is what's happening. This is like Scientology shit. Like, you have been programmed to think and see things a certain way. And this is what we all as Americans need to be very conscientious of, because this is like USSR Russia shit. You know, like, we're going to become a dictatorship, and it could be very fucking crazy if people can get brainwashed like this and cause, I mean, Canton could easily become a riot, and people, lots of innocent lives could be lost, and like the whole city could just burn down because of this controversy. That's how toxic it is. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point. That was disproven in court, and yet the people who want to say that she's innocent completely disregard that. It's like it didn't happen. It happened. It was proven in a court of law. Because Lally isn't like Jackson and doesn't go, so you did, like, he doesn't say the point 15 times over, which Lally needs to do that in the next trial. I hope that he takes some fucking classes about tone and tenor and fucking fluctuation and repeating things, so that, like, hey, jury, are you paying attention? Because this is a really important fact right here. And all of you watching this, we just disproved that. The person that wrote the program told us exactly what happened. She opened the program, and so did that other lady that works for the fucking military, who some people didn't like the way she dressed or some shit, so, like, they discredited her. Look at her fucking resume. I mean, you couldn't find a better fucking... Other than the man that wrote the program, she's the next best thing, and they had both. They disproved that. Okay? It's done. It's over. Karen Reed got pissed off at John because he didn't fucking want to be with her. She was drunk. She was pissed. She is likely has, like, borderline personality disorder and fucking has no impulse control. And she fucking ran him over in a drunken rage and left him to die in the cold, and proceeded to build her alibi and figure out what to do and how bad it was, and was trying to figure out if the cops were coming to arrest her because she was moving vehicles, and she put her car in the garage because she was trying to hide it, and that's why the Ring camera is all deleted, because there was 15 things recorded, and, like, there's a lot of things that that didn't come into court. Okay? So you can't just watch a trial and think you know everything, because if you know the law, you know that that's why there's so much pretrial shit. That's why it takes so long for trials to actually happen, because lawyers are fighting and doing all this legalese shit, trying to get this out of, like, you can't bring this in, you can't bring this in, you can't bring that in kind of shit. Because if that gets brought in, that jury's convicting her, like, right now kind of thing. And so they fight to keep that shit out. And so there's things that can't get brought up. And the defense is the one that wanted the federal investigation sealed, okay? That is in a pretrial on TV. You can find it on YouTube. All of the pretrial shit, all of her interviews that she did. I mean, it is like, you gotta go back to the beginning and you'll see. It's so fucking obvious. But you have to be open to it. You really have to be open to it. Because again, if you listen to my first recording, I listened to Melanie Little and I listened to Yellow Cottage Tales on my first, after I watched the trial on, like, Law and Crime or whatever, like the opening statements. And then I went and I basically watched it 3 times that first day, because I was really trying to digest all the information, because I'm like, what in the fuck? So I went and listened to it myself. That was my first. And then I listened to Melanie Little, who was very, Karen Reed is innocent. And then and everything she said made sense. And then I went and listened to Yellow Cottage Tales, and everything he said made sense. So it was like, okay, there's 2 very different things going on here, which is what, like, this is what innocence fraud is. You can manipulate shit to look a certain way, and if you don't dig deep enough, you won't find the truth. You can't just look on the surface, and you can't just look at what actually goes on in trial. If you want actual factual innocence, if you're like, well, if they can't prove it, and you are okay with murderers just being out on the streets, like teaching our kids and being our neighbors and dating the people we love, that sucks. I really hope that I don't fucking suffer the consequences of you fighting for that. But if you actually want, the truth, you gotta go deeper. Again, I'm open. Contact me, hit me up. I think you can do lives, so I would if you're open to it, I would love to come on and do a live with you. Actually, that would be super cool. You are such a endearing person. I just love your personality. I just think you have been completely misled. So if you're open to it, let's have a convo. Let me explain my side. Let me show you my facts. And then it'll either strengthen your opinion and what you believe that she's innocent, or it'll make you question what you believe and you'll dig deeper. This is what we call life, and we need to evolve. And if we're not open to new ideas, we'll never evolve. So, that's what I always say. If I'm threatened by something, what am I scared of? I'm scared that, like, my beliefs are going to change. That can be scary if that's like part of your identity. This is not part of your identity. You don't know this woman. You don't owe her anything. You owe yourself the truth. You owe yourself your own integrity and grace. And therefore, I encourage you to dig deeper. And I am completely open to having convos. So hit me up. My comments keep getting deleted. Like I said, I know that that's going around, so I don't know if that's a problem. Hopefully it gets resolved sooner than later. Hopefully, if you comment on my video, I will see it. Please do, even if you think I'm a crazy bitch, just tell me I'm a crazy bitch. I just want to make sure. I'm curious what you think, and I hope you listened. I know this is long. I'm a talker, so hopefully you can just double speed me and get through this. But anyway, I send you all love and light. Ask me anything, and I hope that you are all well. Love you all. Mwah.